Good afternoon. We're looking at Nextgrow's currencies outlook, done today, 22nd April, and I want to take you to the first slide immediately. And of course, the question is, where do we stand with the Iranian war? I want you to consider this abstract from a Reuters News article on LSEG. Iran prepared for years for a scenario involving the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, planning every step. Today, it is one of Iran's most effective tools, a form of geographic leverage that serves as a powerful deterrent. The source described the strait as a golden, invaluable asset rooted in Iran's geography, one the world cannot take away precisely because it flows from Iran's location. This source described Hormuz as a sword drawn from its sheath that the US and regional states could not ignore, providing Iran with leverage against external powers. Now, this in itself says that it is really, it can't be taken for granted that Iran will open the Strait of Hormuz. Secondly, Trump has vowed to not lift the blockade of Iranian ports, which Iran considers an act of war, as if blocking an international waterway is not an act of war. We have by now all read about the engine room of an Iranian cargo ship that has been shot out by a US Navy vessel. And this begs the question why the ship tried to run the gauntlet through a US Navy blockade towards the Strait of Hormuz. It was really obvious that they would get into trouble. If the answer to this question is that a trap was set to lure the Navy ship into the strait to be sunk by Iran, this war is far from over. As stated, this happened 2 days ago, while the initial ceasefire was still in place. Last but not least, an extreme hardliner, Ahmed Vahidi, is now apparently in control of Iran via the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Khomeini's son, the new supreme leader of Iran, is still severely incapacitated. Vahidi is battle-hardened from the 8-year Iran-Iraq war and has been wanted by Interpol since 1994 for the Argentine bombing in which 85 Jews died, the highest since the Holocaust. Vahidi is also willing, and this makes him a hardliner, to occupy a chair from which his predecessors have not peacefully retired. So what I'm saying, on the face of it, it seems there are still a significant increase to come in specifically crude oil. This graph is US crude light sweet. And I've chosen this specific graph because it shows a typical head and shoulders pattern. We've had the left shoulder. This is the outbreak of the war. With the outbreak of the war, crude light sweet broke through $67 per barrel resistance over there, went on to make a left shoulder, made a head when the crude reached $112 plus, and declined since then because of the ceasefire, but now seems to be rising again from this neckline. So technically it means that we could have another move upwards, possibly or probably above $100 for crude light sweet. That means Brent could go up $104, $108 if crude light sweets goes above $100. So there is still some volatility in crude, specifically because of the news items that I've just read. And it can't be ignored that there would still be some action in the Gulf of Hormuz. So we again have my global capital flow channels scheme, and I'm saying the bias is for an escalation of the war. The ceasefire has expired yesterday, which has been extended indefinitely by President Trump. But the bias is for the escalation of the war rather than a peaceful settlement. This, in the recent past, led to a risk-off scenario with global capital into the United States dollar. Let me just move my face into the United States dollar. So in terms of this scheme, we have global capital flows into the United States dollar. Whenever there is a risk-off sentiment globally because of extensive risk, meaning global capital flow will flow out of gold, and if it is out of gold into the dollar, then our concern, of course, the ZAR as an emerging market currency would be a weakening of the ZAR. So what are we seeing? Not really a decline, but definitely not a further increase in gold. And the opinion is that gold might decline to at least the center of this bull channel. It is, of course, still a bull channel, but declining in the bull channel towards the center, which would be $4,600 an ounce for gold on a risk-off scenario. And then either get support there or break through. There is also a 4,200 support over there, but getting there would probably mean that gold will break out of this bull channel to the bottom. There is an intermarket principle which states that shares are an arbitrator of the future of the commodity. So the principle is gold shares an arbitrator of future gold prices. I have here Anglo Gold Weekly, which is an international gold mining company, very familiar to us in South Africa. And it seems that Anglo Gold is discounting a possible decline in gold on risk off. Now, whether they perceive it as to be a risk off is a matter for the debate. And they are the investors community. But what you see there is Anglo Gold, and Anglo Gold is the candle graphs backtracking, declining from 1,800 Rand resistance over there, more than 150 or almost 150, now sitting at 1,655 when I've drawn this graph from the LSEG platform. There you see it earlier today. Gold in gold year seems to be declining, and hence the decline in Anglo Gold. So the point that I'm trying to make is that the investors community is also believing that we might see a decline in gold and selling the share that is a reflection of gold price moves. You can clearly see as of last year, from October over here, the increase in Anglo Gold because of the increase in gold. Anglo Gold, of a couple of gold mining companies, always the more bullish when it comes to a reaction to the price of gold. So looking at the USD Euro chart, we haven't really seen a drop, or a drop meaning a stronger US dollar past 117. 117 is important because it is exactly the middle of 115, 119 US dollar per euro. So we haven't seen a drop, a strengthening to below 117, but this is the aim of this, or the purpose of this video, because that is what I expect on gold dropping to the center of its channel in reaction to renewed conflict in the Strait of Hormuz and in the Middle East. If the dollar is expected to strengthen beyond lower than 117, then of course we'll have to expect the ZAR to weaken above 1640. So 1640, this is a daily graph, whereas the previous graph was a weekly graph for the dollar. Just keep that in mind. This is a daily graph, and I've used the daily graph to point out for how long 1640 has given support to the ZAR, more than almost 2 trading weeks, but finally yesterday and early trading today, the ZAR has broken above 1640. So breaking above 1640, I expect the ZAR to remain in this sideways channel, 1640 to 70, but trading towards 1670, settling around 1670 on the assumption of risk off. There's one important fact that I need to point out, and that is the tremendous strength in emerging market currencies on the back of gold at this point in time. And no emerging market currency shows it better than the Brazilian real, which this week has broken below 5 Brazilian real per US dollar, which is a very important resistance level, a psychological resistance level, a level that has held almost 2 years, if I remember correctly. But we can also see here that the moment gold really drops, how far the emerging market currency index drops. This is an index of all emerging market currencies. So there is support for the ZAR, overall support on the back of strong gold. Even though gold might be declining, it's still a very strong gold price on the left-hand scale here, which inherently offers support to the ZAR. Therefore, I'm not expecting runaway weakness, rather the ZAR weakening from 1640 to around here, 1670. So in summary, the evidence is that the Iranian war could be far from over. At the very least, it will still lead to volatility, especially in crude oil, if Iran refuses to open the Strait of Hormuz, which seems to be the case. All these currency outlooks are based on intermarket scenarios to determine the perceived flow of global capital. On a probable risk off, meaning that the world doesn't want further risk scenario, the opinion is that we shall see global capital into the US dollar and out of gold, thereby weakening the ZAR. There is, however, inherent strength in emerging market currencies, and the 1640-17 per USD range call for the ZAR remains, with trading around the center of 1670. Of course, if the USD weakens right through 119 support, then this outlook is nullified. This is an outlook for currencies, not for any other financial instrument. Note the disclaimers at the bottom of all the graphs, and all graphs drawn on the LSEG platform.